Township Council meeting will come to order. In the absence of the Council President, first order of business is a nomination for an acting Council President.
I make a motion for Andrew Simaluka.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Council President.
Just call the roll.
Councilman Simaluka. Councilwoman Dorminio.
Here.
Councilman Garrett.
Here.
Councilman Alcomando.
Here.
And Council President Mays is unable to be here this evening.
Please rise for the salute to the flag. After the salute, please remain standing for a moment of silence in memory of former councilman and interim mayor Bernie Goldstraw, in memory of all the victims of the 9/11 terror attack. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all council members and to all legal newspapers in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
The public is hereby advised that any statements made during the meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook may not be privileged or protected, and that persons or entities who take issue with such comments or are offended by same may have in the past sought legal redress through the courts. Any member of the public who addresses the council speaks for themselves and not for the council.
Entertain a motion to open the meeting to the public.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Dorminio.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Alcomando.
Yes.
Council President Simaluka.
Yes. Meeting is now open to the public. Anyone wishes to speak? Move forward.
Larry Ratajczak, 92 Claremont. Pete, I asked you on Tuesday about the tax appeals. I don't want to waste no time on it now, but you said you would give us an answer.
I said I didn't have an update. That's what
You don't
asked.
have an update? How many do we have approximately? Tell me later, though. Tuesday, I discussed the pump station. Once again, the pump is there on standby. Like I say, we went through baby wipes, we went through vapor lock, and now, like I say, the terrible odor, which was not there for the past 2 years, is back. And there's something radically wrong with that pump station. That pump station needs to be rebuilt so it can handle the amount of sewage that's going through it. It just can't take it. It's old, and how much money are we gonna keep dumping into there? I went over the road program. I mean, it's disgrace that the road program is 9 months, 10 months old, and we're still trying to get a punch list done. And yet we're giving out $100,000 because we're rewarding the guy because he did a good street, Erie. Came out right the way a road's supposed to come out. But the 5 other ones, he's tucking underground. He said he went and landscaped, Andrew, on Hayes Drive. As a town leader up there, I would be embarrassed to have that dead sod on people's lawns, all up and down Hayes Drive. I'd tell that contractor, go there tomorrow or tonight and rip that sod out. I don't care what you put there, but it's embarrassing to have it there. It looks like we're a third world country. And it's not only one house, it's like 5 houses there. I don't know what you look at when you ride up your block, but there's 5 houses, and it's not just 3 feet of sod. It's 10 and 12 and 14. Flora Lane on the corner, both sides. Hayes Drive, Herbert Terrace on the corners. Well, it's just lined up. It's dead, gone. It was dead from the beginning. And yet we're going to pay this guy. You're losing your power, I'm telling you, to negotiate with him. Let him sue us. We're not the hunted here, okay? He wants his money. We have his money. He didn't do his job right. And we have every right, and you have the things to show him what he didn't do right. I mean, you haven't even addressed the puddles yet, and he's looking to get paid. Remember I asked you about the quarter test, Mr. Engineer? And you said, no, we go with the dime. I said, well, that's better yet, because the dime is thinner than the quarter. And if you see the dime through the water, the puddle's not acceptable. So when are we gonna do that test? Or we're gonna do a roll of dimes for them, that's this high. There's 50 dimes in a roll. I mean, it's gotta get fixed, and it's gotta get fixed right away. And then you people wanna go into a project like Home Depot? How can we trust you? How can we trust you when it takes you 9 months to pave roads that are unacceptable? No roads got put off this year, no new roads. That was a quick 3 minutes, Andrew. I think you started it too early.
I started at
He
the same
started-
time every
Yeah,
time.
well, like I said, that's 3 minutes, but it's not,
Thank you, Larry.
and it's just not enough. And like I said, we can't trust you.
Okay.
We can't.
Thank
I didn't even talk about the crossing guards, the busing, or anything else. You just can't do this to us. Not have a 15-minute open to the public session, and that's all you're gonna have, because you're not gonna have
Thank you,
5
Larry.
people speak.
Anyone else from the public wish to address the council? Please come forward.
3 minutes.
Seeing none, entertain a motion to close to the public.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman D'Arminio,
Yes.
Councilman Garrick,
Yes.
Councilman Accomando,
Yes.
Council President Simaluka.
Yes.
Can I go through the chair a minute?
Well, we're going to do
Oh, all right,
comments.
we'll do comments.
so
I'll
we
wait
can-
for
we-
comments. No. Okay.
May, do you want to start off?
Yes.
Or do you have it fresh in your mind? You wanna-
I do,
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll defer to
if you don't
Councilwoman
mind.
Drummond. No
Yeah,
problem. You can do
I
your
just
comments.
want to address something that was just said. We pulled the bills for AJM. They're not getting paid. So we pulled them, so I just want you to know that. We didn't talk about it Tuesday, but we did pull them today. So,
Okay, Mr. Mayor?
Thank you.
yes.
National Night Out was Tuesday, August the 6th at Washington School. It was a very nice event to educate residents about public safety programs. This is an annual program we've been doing. It also gives the residents an opportunity to meet and show appreciation for their first responders. I want to thank all the members of our police department, fire department, and ambulance corps for keeping us safe and for their service to the community. We had the Mayor's Walk and Township Picnic on Saturday, August the 25th. We had beautiful weather. I want to thank all our sponsors and participants. We're going to bring the sign, the poster sign, with all the contributors, and we're going to put it up in council chambers over there by the board. The picnic is a good way for the town to give back to the residents. Councilwoman Karen D'Arminio, Chairwoman Shannon Accomando, and Christine Januario do a fabulous job preparing, setting up for the picnic, and basically managing and organizing the whole event. I also want to thank Rec Director Andy Gallo and Business Administrator Pete Ladico for all their assistance. I appreciate all the efforts of so many who helped out to make the picnic a success. There's too many to mention, and I don't want to forget anyone, so I'm just going to leave it there. I do want to say special thanks to the council members. They all worked very hard at their posts. They all were distributing food and for the whole time, so thank you for that. National Night Out and the picnic were videotaped and could be seen on YouTube, the Township website, Facebook page, and Our Town TV, which is Channel 77 Cablevision and Channel 38 Verizon Fios. I want to congratulate Tony Gatto for his 50th anniversary as a member of the Saddlebrook Volunteer Fire Department Hook and Ladder Company. Tony was a former chief back in 1982 and 83 and is currently the company president. I want to thank Tony for all his years of dedicated service to the township, 50 years. I can honestly say they don't make them like Tony anymore. So he's also a member of our township zoning board. So thank you, Tony. I want to mention that we formed a committee to establish criteria for an outstanding citizen street naming program. And Councilman Simaluka will elaborate a little bit more, but basically, the program would recognize individuals who have served our country and our community. By naming a town street in their honor, we hope to promote public awareness of that particular individual. will also show appreciation for their outstanding contributions. We would not be renaming streets, it would just, we would be placing a distinguishable sign above or below the actual street sign. I had a FEMA conference call on Thursday, August the 29th. This is as part of the emergency management guidelines. Chief Bob Kugler, Business Administrator Pete Ladico, and I participated in the call with FEMA representatives to review and update the information about the township needs to FEMA. Today was the first day of school in town. I want to welcome all the students and staff back for the new school year. The police department conducted training for crossing guards on yesterday, September 4th. As a result of the school eliminating courtesy busing, we've added some new posts to ensure the safety of the children that may be walking to school. This is going to be done on a tentative basis to determine whether those posts should become permanent. Today, at the Senior Center, between 10:30 and 12:30, our District 38 legislators, Lisa Swain and Chris Tully, they brought representatives of the State Treasury Department, and they provided a clinic about the Senior Freeze Program and Homestead Rebate. It was well attended. Tonight, we have some ordinances, second reading on the Affordable Housing Ordinance, which outlines our plan to comply with our COA obligation. We also have a first reading on a bond ordinance for Phase 2 of paving Herbert Terrace and Fairlawn Parkway. That's using $192,000 DOT grant as well. There's also a first reading to amend the water meter ordinance to discontinue applying a $200 fee to the sale of homes in town if the fee had already been assessed from a prior sale of that home. Also, our 2019 road program includes North and South Leswing Avenue, Oak Avenue, Rosedale Ave, Rochelle Parkway, which is actually a community development grant. That'll be advertised this month. North 6th Street, Evans Place, and Madison Ave. All the streets except Rochelle Parkway were advertised, and we got bids for that. Is that correct, Rick? Yes, that's correct. Okay. Also, Saddlebrook Recreation Football and Cheer are having their pep rally this Friday, September 6th at 7 p.m. at Veterans Field. There's a ribbon cutting ceremony for the new senior housing complex on Monday, September 9th at 11 a.m. at the complex. The paper shredding event is Saturday, September 14th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. behind Coolidge School, 540 Saddle River Road. And lastly, the Saddlebrook Volunteer Ambulance Corps is having their 16th annual golf outing fundraiser Monday, September 30th at Rivervale Country Club. If anybody's interested, please contact Ambulance Corps Captain Harry Reed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Todd?
Yes, Tuesday night in the work session, I brought up the fact that the permit process for people with disabilities is, in this town, fortunately, it's not, because we show a little leniency, I guess, toward them, and care, I guess you could say. But in a lot of townships within the county, the process is just redundant. It's like you're asking someone whose husband or wife has just gotten into an accident, is now paralyzed from the neck down, waist down, to go and pull surveys, get a zoning, building permit. It's just something that these people shouldn't have to worry about. And I think I want to try and change the process to make it a little easier for them and their families. So we'll see how that goes from here. And I just think that's our way of giving back. As far as veterans also, because veterans dealing with the same process, it's unnecessary. I don't want to call it nonsense, but for somebody who pulls 3, 4, 5 permits a week, it's nonsense for these people to go through that and have to worry about where the survey is, where's the zoning building, where's this building. It's just unnecessary. So hopefully we could go in the right direction, and other towns will follow, hopefully. This Saturday is the high school's first football game. It's home. I'd like to wish them luck. A good, safe school year for the kids. And that's about it. So thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Dave?
We're in the process of setting up a flood committee meeting for the end of September. So we're exploring a few dates. We're going to have the flood committee meeting the end of September. I'd like to thank everyone that volunteered for the town picnic. I was away on vacation, but I heard it was a great event. Thank you. Also, I just want to mention where the Saddlebrook Educational Foundation is holding their annual 5K run walk on Saturday, October 5th at the Saddlebrook County Park at 8:30 in the morning. Registrations will begin at 8 o'clock in the morning. If you could participate, they'd greatly appreciate it. 100% of the proceeds goes back to the students to pay for some very important services. Thank you. That's all I have for this time.
Thank you, Dave. Karen?
I just want to talk about a minute about the picnic and thank everybody, as the mayor has, the professionals and all the businesses that contributed. It comes out that it costs the taxpayer really nothing. The contributions come in and pretty much cover the expense for the picnic. So I think that's really great. And the council people that worked and everybody that worked, it was a great day. Monday is the ribbon cutting for the senior housing. I'm real excited. It's a long time in the making. They are going through the vetting process right now. We should hopefully on Monday find out exactly how many of our residents are getting in. I don't have that number yet. So that's going to be something to look forward to. Also, I was at the Freeze program today that they did at the senior center. There is going to be another program at the center on October 10th for the seniors about Medicare, all different things related to the seniors. Today was a really good program. It explained how to get into the tax, to freeze your taxes, and I thought it was very productive. The people really enjoyed it. And I think I covered it all.
Thank you, Karen. First thing, I guess, is, since I have it in front of me, this is for high school, Todd? Yes. High school football team is having a fundraiser, so $20 per ticket. See any parent of a football player, or you can see Todd. And first place is 2 tickets to a Giants home game. Second place is an autographed Saquon Barkley jersey. We have this 3-minute rule. I could just summarize for people who don't know. We kind of make it an unlimited time on Tuesday. There's a limited time constraints, but Mr. Tychek came up on Tuesday and he mentioned some of the things, but things he couldn't talk about today were crossing guards, that he was upset about the contract that was negotiated with the crossing guards. I tend to agree with him on that, and we will certainly revisit that contract, right? I would hope that we revisit certain aspects of that contract, not to cut them out of anything that they are due and owing, but things have changed with regard to the school times. So we've got to move and make our times for the guards in conjunction with the times that the schools are in and out. You may have gotten your tax bills and they may have said the Borough of Saddle River. That was a mistake not on our part, but we have an outside contractor called Munidex, and they picked up the wrong envelopes. Instead of the Saddlebrook envelopes, they picked up the Saddle River envelopes. So if you got that, don't think that you live in Saddle River all of a sudden. You do live in Saddlebrook. That was their mistake. We have contacted them. They have apologized, and we are seeking some kind of compensation or something from them for their mistake, because it's not a good look. Also, he complained about the property maintenance in town, and basically the town, a lot of things in town don't look up to snuff. I disagree. I believe that the town does look good if you go up Market Street. I think it's, for the most part, very well maintained. Most of the property owners, maybe 95% of them keep their property in very good condition, a lot of good landscaping. It looks nice. Midland Avenue is being worked on, and it looks 100% better than it did a few months ago. So, like I've said on a couple of occasions, I'm all in favor of the property maintenance officer, and I believe he's doing a good job, and it's being spruced up. Could it be better? Obviously, but things take time. Not every dumpster is enclosed, but it takes time. The peeling paint behind the post office or something, the trees were cut by the post office. Peeling paint behind the post office. Again, it's Saddlebrook, the federal government. Guess who wins that battle? We are battling, though, and we are on that, and the maintenance officer has been in touch with the postmaster over there, and we are working on it. But however, getting the federal government to do anything is like moving a mountain. But we are on that. We opened bids for the road projects 2 days ago, and yesterday, and we did award we awarded the bids for certain projects. We will be doing some roads in 2019. We are also expediting the process so that next year we will finish the 2019 program as soon as we can in 2020, and then also start that process so in 2020 we get on it a little faster. It's a work in progress, but we understand that by the time we set the budget, get the bids out there, get all the specs done, you're already into the fall, and that, now you have winter coming. It's a Game of Thrones. Winter is coming, and we're limited, but we are working on that, and we believe that we have a fix for that. In terms of the water meter, the mayor had indicated we did put that on for a first reading tonight. I fully agree with the concept of that. The purpose of the water meter fees was when we put water meters in, it cost a lot of money for the new water meters, the new up-to-date water meters. And what we did was we said, when you sell your house, you've got to pay it. There's no reason for duplication. So if the house gets flipped 3 times in 5 years, it doesn't seem right that every homeowner has to do that. Once we get our money back, we're fine. And that's what we want to do. In terms of the senior housing, I'm very, very happy, long overdue, as Councilwoman Darminio has said. I do believe it's going to be a great addition to Saddlebrook for the seniors. It's in a perfect location, right across from the senior center, footsteps from Market Street. And like I said, when we were talking about this, you walk 100 feet and you can be any place in the world in a couple of hours, because you got a direct bus to New York, and then from there you can go any place. School is in session. The mayor talked about the crossing guards. Again, working on that, trying to work with the Board of Ed in regard to that. Just be safe. I do happen to live 1 block from a school, and I know that between the hours of 8 and 9 and 2:30 and 3:30, it is hectic, so to speak. So to all the parents out there that are in a hurry to either drop off or pick up their children, remember, there are children, other children around, there are homeowners around, there's residents around. Just be careful. Stay in your lane. You just keep calm. You'll get your child there. Just make sure that you do the right thing, because you're in a hurry, everyone's in a hurry, but the main thing is the safety of the children. Pep rally is on Friday. Unfortunately, for the first time in 15 years, I probably, due to a prior commitment, I'll be unable to make it. I just wish all of the coaches, players, parents, and anyone involved in the football program, and actually all of our recreation programs, the best of luck. Stay safe, and especially to the parents. There is the code of conduct. Every year we have 1 or 2 issues. Just remember, your 3rd grader is not going to be in the Hall of Fame or get a college scholarship at the age of 9. So just keep it cool, and also with the referees and the officials. Sometimes they take unnecessary abuse. Remember, they're there. It's usually their part-time job. So take it easy on them, understand that it is a game. The kids are there to learn at this stage. This isn't professional. I may as well talk about the sign committee now. Would be old business, but I did meet with a couple of members of the VFW. We also, on that committee is the commander of the American Legion. The mayor was there, Mr. Ladico was there, and what the issue was, I don't know if for people who are regular viewers, a couple of months ago, someone came and talked about the possibility of naming a street for his dad. We haven't really done that. Other towns have, so we decided to form a committee to see what the criteria would be. We've decided as of now what the criteria would be for military personnel. And I can say it, has been agreed upon is killed in action, missing in action, or the winner of a Congressional Medal of Honor. There will be criteria for non-military. That's a more subjective criteria. We are still working on the specific criteria. We have a general outline of what we're going to do, but we will be meeting again, trying to narrow it down and really get a solid criteria in, put it in writing, and then if people feel that somebody is worthwhile, we'd have a committee to go over and see if the criteria is met, and then ultimately make a decision. And I believe that's all I have for now, and we can go into ordinances.
If I may speak.
Yes, sir.
Just would like to say a few words. We had a moment of silence for Bernie Goldshaw. I served with Bernie. I was a colleague and a friend of Bernie's for almost 50 years. I could honestly say Bernie was a champion for the taxpayers of this town, and he will be missed. He led a full life. He passed away at 97, but Bernie was an integral part of our community. We want to thank him.
And one thing, since you brought that up again, we did, again, have that moment of silence, and I saw something on the internet, and it was just very interesting. We do these moments of silence. I think it was, it's been the anniversary of the freeing of the concentration camp of Auschwitz, and somebody had calculated it, and think about it. If you took a moment of silence, took a minute of silence for every person who died during the Holocaust, it would take, you would be silent for 11 and a half years. So for some of these people that keep comparing, you see on TV, a lot of the big-time politicians who keep calling everyone Nazis and comparing things to Nazi Germany and concentration camps. Just think about that. 11 and a half years of not talking because of 6 million people that were exterminated based on just genocidal maniacs. So we will go to ordinances.
We have ordinance 1666-19, an ordinance amending Chapter 48 of the Township Code of the Township of Saddlebrook entitled Affordable Housing for a second reading.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Dorminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Arcomando?
Yes.
Council President Simuluk?
Yes.
An ordinance amending Chapter 48 of the Township Code of the Township of Saddlebrook entitled Affordable Housing for a public hearing.
Okay, a motion for the public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion, this ordinance is on for a public.
This is for more affordable housing that we're going to build? Go ahead, Anthony.
Mr. Suarez,
Tie check is done, or do you want to answer now?
what's that?
Do you want to wait till the tie check is done, or do you want?
Do you have anything besides the question, or?
I just want to know, and how many units are we responsible for, and how many more do we have? And are we going to use the property on Russell Lane? Or do we have any developers building any new complexes that will get credit in their complex for them units? I have a whole list of questions.
I
You want to answer them one at a time, or?
No, I can, you want, if I can.
You talk about this, or, what, Mr. Suarez, why don't you respond
the
to
chart if you
what
want.
exactly this ordinance, what we're amending?
So specifically, this ordinance is,
You need to put your mic on.
oh, I'm sorry. So specifically, this ordinance is allowing us to follow through with the settlement agreement that we had entered into and we had put on the record at the fairness hearing. We have another hearing now to finalize this agreement in November, which is the final disposition repos, which will cover us until 2025. So with regard to the specific, it's quite lengthy. I mean, I don't know if you want me to go through the whole ordinance, just wholesale changes, but essentially what this does is you can see where the amendments are being made to our zone ordinance. So it allows the implementation of the plan that we approved and the settlement agreement that we approved. As for the specific question that you followed through with regarding specific developments, specific numbers and things of that nature, the settlement agreement is a public document, which I can, obviously I can share with him. I don't have it with me. Only tonight we had the second reading of this ordinance, and we don't have the planner here, who's got obviously more detail on it. And Mr. Ladico said he does have
Is
the
it a
chart.
large amount, or we're responsible for 10, 20, 30, 80? How many more units are we responsible for?
So there's
Approximately.
Yeah, well, the short answer to your question is that there's different segments with regard to the settlement of this case, right? There's the prospective need, which calls for the establishment of overlay zones. There's the present need, and then there's the rehabilitation that we're doing with respect to present homes that allow us to satisfy the obligation when we're rehabbing them. I don't have the specific numbers that I can tell you off the top of my head. I don't have that document with me, but like I said, I can obviously share with you if you would like to see the settlement
I don't
agreement,
need
which
to see it.
actually I can if you want to wait a
But
minute. I do
rather
have it.
than us go purchase property, we own that property on Russell Lane. And I believe that's what we designated it for.
So
So is it possible that we can build one complex and get our obligation over with and have a few in the bank rather than keep spot building all over and developers coming in?
Currently, as far as I understand, there's no current plans for affordable housing construction at this present
At this,
time.
we're at Russell Lane,
Any place.
anywhere in town.
So-
But, I mean, we have to be prepared when
And we have Russell Lane as our.
and we have to, have a plan intact when we're required to do it.
So I'm sorry, I just
Yeah.
looked up, because I had it published in the record today
Sure.
for the final hearing. I have the ad, and I can actually read it, like 2 sentences to give you the
Go ahead.
general
Sure.
numbers. Okay, so the affordable housing plan, this is going to be in the record and noticed to all the property owners, addresses the existing components of the township's affordable housing obligations for the period 1987 to 2025. These include the prior round, which is 1987 to 1999 obligation, which is 124 units, the present need obligation, which is 38 units, and the third round, 1999 to 2025 obligation of 418 units, which is adjusted to a 36-unit realistic development potential, which is the RDP, and a 382-unit unmet need from the third round, which the court determined to be fair and reasonable after conclusion of the initial fairness hearing, which occurred on February 11th, 2019. So the plan, which we have, which is a public document, provides a detailed list of the township's total affordable housing obligations, the compliance mechanisms which demonstrate the township's compliance with those obligations. And again, this is advertised. The plan is available for public inspection or photocopying at your expense during normal business hours. And again, it's quite extensive and lists specific properties, street addresses, that are going to allow us to comply. But that's kind of like the overview with regard to, what we're doing here. And I just would add that, because I have a couple of other towns I represent and we're going through this, that the resolution of this and the way we did it and working with the special master planner was really done, in my opinion, very well. Because if you look what's going on in Anglo Cliffs right now, they lost their immunity. There's builders' remedy lawsuits which be coming in. They could be responsible for thousands of units. We controlled it, and I just went through this last night in Glen Rock because they're doing the same thing. We're controlling this development, which, as you know, you go back, a number of years with a prior mayor, this was like an explosion when we eventually, I guess it was a new administration came in, and then there was a mess with regard to the builder's remedy that had come in, so they resolved this. And
That's why I'm asking now, so
Yes.
we're prepared and we don't get that
Yes,
explosion. put
yes,
on
that,
us.
that, we are immune. We have immunity now
Okay.
until 2025.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else on this ordinance, proposed ordinance? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close to the public.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending Chapter 48 of the Township Code of the Township of Saddlebrook entitled Affordable Housing, does now pass on second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
Okay, is there a motion to approve this ordinance?
Motion.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Dorminio.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Council President Samuka.
Yes. Second ordinance, we have?
We have first reading, ordinance 1667-19 is an ordinance amending Chapter 203, Section 25 of the Township Code of the Township of Saddlebrook entitled Fee for Meters with Sale of House for first reading.
Okay, is there a motion to make a first reading?
Motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Dorminio.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Council President Samuka.
Yes.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that an ordinance amending Chapter 203, Section 25 of the Township Code of the Township of Saddlebrook entitled Fee for Meters with Sale of House, heretofore passed on first reading, be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on the third day of October 2019 at 7:00 p.m. or sooner after as the matter can be reached at the Municipal Building, 93 Market Street, and that at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance according to law, with the notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Is there a motion to pass on first reading?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Dorminio.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Council President Simaluka.
Yes.
First reading, ordinance number 1668-19. The bond ordinance to authorize the improvement of Fairlawn Parkway Phase 2 and Herbert Terrace, the entire length, in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook, in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $650,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds for first reading.
Motion to read the,
Motion.
Second.
roll call.
Councilwoman Dorminio.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Council President Simluka.
Yes.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that a bond ordinance to authorize the improvement of Fairlawn Parkway Phase 2 and Herbert Terrace entire length in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $650,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, heretofore passed on first reading, be further considered for the final passage at a meeting to be held on the third day of October 2019 at 7:00 p.m., or sooner after as the matter can be reached at the Municipal Building, 93 Market Street, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance according to law, with the notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Motion to pass on first reading?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Dorminio.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Council President Simuluka.
Yes. What do we have next? Six. Next is the consent agenda.
All items
We are
listed.
not going to do the August 15th special public meeting, so I believe Mr. Garrick and Mr. Accomando would need to recuse or abstain. Abstain from the...
So we can.
Yes.
And also not part of the consent agenda will be approved payment of bills from his own plumbing and heating, and the bill list will be adjusted for the removal of the 2 purchase orders, and correspondence number 1 will be removed since it's in conjunction with one of the payments. All items listed with an asterisk will be considered routine and non-controversial by the Township Council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member or member so requests, in which case the item or items will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. The one motion signifies adoption of all resolutions, receive and file letters, correspondence, reports, and approval of minutes and applications.
Motion to pass the consent agenda, consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Dorminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Alcomondo?
Yes.
Council President Samuka?
Yes.
We have the minutes of the August 15, 2019 special public meeting.
Motion to pass, or to accept the minutes?
August 15th, you said, right?
Yes.
August 15th.
Yeah, motion.
A second. Roll call.
Councilwoman Dorminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Abstain.
Councilman Arcomondo?
Abstain.
And Council President Samuka?
Yes. We have number 5, payment of bills, Ms. Own Plumbing and Heating. I'll ask Ms. Arminio to step out for a second. Accept the motion to approve payment of Ms. Own Plumbing and Heating.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Arcomondo?
Yes.
Council President Samuka?
Yes. I believe that's it. Old business, new business, anything that we have not spoken about already? Council members? Mr. Mayor? Certainly.
I just want to mention too, with the outstanding citizen street naming program, I don't know if Andy mentioned it, but we are thinking about considering having a nominating petition. Did you hear that? I didn't have the mic on. We are considering having a nominating petition for the outstanding citizen street naming program. That was one of the things that we discussed as well.
When we get the criteria set, we anticipate having a petition and the form of the petition, and it'll be self-explanatory as to what the criteria would be and what you'd have to show for consideration by the committee, whatever the makeup of the committee is at that time.
Okay. The other thing I have is regarding the crossing guards. Yeah, I do understand the argument. It's pretty self-explanatory as far as them getting paid for hours that they're not working. I do want to say, and I think Mr. Lodico will also confirm, that the majority of those posts have all been eliminated through attrition. So I think there's, I don't want to say, but I don't even want to say, but there's very few that are left.
We have some.
Right, there are still some. So, we are working on that, and it is a contractual item that, so, perhaps it should have got resolved then, but, you know what? The crossing guards are, they're very important to the town, to public safety, and it can be a very dangerous job. I don't think many of us look at it that way. What they're doing, like I said, is important. And the parents do happen to, Mr. Samaluka was saying about how he lives in a school zone there, and it can get very hectic at times. And I've seen it myself where parents, they got one thing on their mind, they want to pick up their child, and sometimes they can be, it's a stressful situation, and they're not always as considerate as maybe they should and can be. And I can tell you, I've seen where they can really give those crossing guards a hard time. The crossing guards are there for a purpose, to try to keep everybody safe, and they'll offer, direction. And some of these parents, they just don't want to hear it, and they treat them, they're not police officers, so and they know they don't have a badge and a gun and have the authority to write tickets, so they take some abuse, so I'm 100% behind them and what they do.
Yeah, I just want to make clear that what I said before should not be considered a slight against the crossing guards. It is, as members of the council, we have a obligation to the township, and people get paid a fair wage for the work that's being done. And as contracts come due, we look at what's being done and what we can do. We certainly want them to be paid a fair wage for the work that they do. And it's not an easy job because I forget, some statistics show that crossing guards are one of the most dangerous professions. They're out there, and people sometimes, like the mayor had said, just they have blinders on, and that is, little Johnny has to get to school by 8:35, and I don't care if there's 3 vehicles in front of me and little kids crossing, and the guy holding up a stop sign or a lady holding up a stop sign with her hand out. They got to get there. So it is a tough job, and we do appreciate the work that they do, and they do a fine job. We have a good crew, very good crew. Okay. At this point, I believe if there's no other old business, new business, we'll open the meeting up. I'll entertain a motion to open the meeting back up to the public for agenda items only.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Dorminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrick?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Council President Samuti?
Yes. Meeting is now open on agenda items only.
Sorry, check 92 Claremont. Karen, if I understood you correctly, you pulled the bills for AGM, they're not getting that $106,000.
No.
And I make a recommendation to the council that they shouldn't be paid any of the money that's due to them until the streets are to our satisfaction. Okay, we hold the ball on this one. We got burned at Veterans Field, we got burned with the refreshment stand, with contractors walking away from us. Let them walk now when we owe them $600,000. You're free to walk now. And we'll hire somebody to come in and fix them. But we have to have the ball in our court, and we have it. But don't give it up like this. I mean, I brought this up to you on Tuesday. I wish I would have known that you made that decision on Tuesday. And there has to be another way that we can get our money in place and our bids out to get our paving done earlier. We can't wait till the end of the year. It's September now. We can't send bids out for paving for the year that we're working on. We either have to get our streets together and find a way either to bond the money, repay the bond back when the money's released the upcoming year, but we got to get the jump on the contractors because there are no contractors left. And you can't do no paving in October, November, December. We learned the hard way. You cannot do it in the winter. So, I mean, it's up to you guys to put your heads together and find out how we can get the bids out earlier. Have the streets organized, know which streets you want to do, and send the bids out. I mean, the job doesn't have to be paid for until the job is done. So you tell them you want to be paved April or May or when school's out. Do our paving in June, July, and August. Something like that, rather than in the wintertime in the cold, where we had all these kind of problems. But like I say, that's where you people come in, and you got to sit down and figure out how to do it. There's got to be a way. Other towns do it. Their budgets end the same time as we do. And their streets get paved a lot earlier than ours. And like I say, we get the bottom of the barrel again. And that's what we're getting when it comes to contractors. You're not going to get a good contractor now. Is Fairlawn Parkway going to be paved this year? And Herbert Terrace? No. Next year, right?
Yes.
The engineer, he can answer me. He's not.
Yes.
Huh? Yes, it's not going to be paved this year.
Next year.
Next year, coming up.
There are a couple of roads that will be paved. We've pushed for that. So this way, some of the roads on the 2019 will actually be done.
But
in
so we're not
2019.
doing no more paving now for the rest of this year?
That's incorrect.
Not a street will be paved?
No.
But like I say, we should come out of
You're-
the first of the year like barn busters. We
Maybe
should be
you're
ready
not hearing me. I said we are having some roads paved this year.
this year.
That's correct.
Which are they?
It's Madison, North Sixth, which one's right?
Yeah, those I mentioned, those are the very short streets that
Yes.
included. I believe it is
It is Madison, and possibly Evans Place and North Sixth Street.
Okay, but
Those are relatively very, very short.
can you get a starting date from the contractor and give him that you don't want him to start no later than November
We will.
1st or whatever? I don't care if it's 80 degrees out. You can't take a chance on the weather.
We are monitoring that, and we are anticipating that it gets done without any issues. The problem was, it was in December of last year.
I know.
This year, October is perfectly acceptable to pave roads. And perhaps you didn't hear me before, but what I said was that we have worked on this, and we do have a plan in place, so this way, future paving jobs, the 2020 jobs will be bid on and worked on in 2020. It will be done earlier, so we don't have the same situation. So it was a problem, we worked on it, we fixed it, and it's gonna be going 2020 on, should be working fine.
But the only thing that I should say is, we had a mistake 2 years in a row. We didn't get on it.
Right. Well-
You learn from your mistakes.
Well, we fixed it.
We made the
Thank you, Joe.
mistake.
Thank you, Mr.
We got nothing done this year,
Thank you, sir.
or you're gonna get a certain amount of roads. So it took you 2 years to learn.
Thank you. Okay, at this point, I don't think that we have anything. Oh, agenda item. Mr. Sudol.
Good evening, everyone. Emil Sudol, Van Loon Terrace, Saddlebrook. That ordinance is that for paving the full length of Fairlawn Parkway, and what's the other way, Herbert Terrace? That's for paving, blacktop, has improvement though?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a phase two. There's two phases, phase one and phase two. Phase one goes to, I forget what street it goes to. and then to Flora Lane, and then there's, the second phase would go out to Wilson.
Just two things about that. I don't know if anybody driven through Garfield lately, but they ripped up half the public services, putting in new gas lines all over the entire town. I mean, it's difficult to get from one part of the town to the next. That's not gonna happen here, is it? I mean, after we do all this paving and stuff, and is,
We are coordinating with PSE&G, and we had something like Dana Way is a horrific road. I mean, it's just pothole city, it's like Beirut. However, PSE&G is doing the work on it. So that was in our, we had that in our site, but there's no reason to even bid on it because PSE&G is going to tear it up. So we are working with PSE&G to see what roads they are targeting, and we're holding
Staying
off
away
on
from
those.
us.
Right, because, they will be
Understood.
paving, and we're working with them in terms of paving the full width of the road.
yeah,
on
that would
those
be a nightmare.
particular
I mean,
streets.
if you just pave it and have public service come in
Correct.
and rip it all up. The other, just one other thing quickly about that. Are you guys intending on putting any speed bumps on any of those roads?
We are also talking about speed bumps, I think Rochelle
I
Parkway,
brought this up at a
not
past,
Rochelle Parkway, Fairlawn Parkway may be appropriate.
I brought this up at a bunch of meetings ago. I was in the township of Tenafly, and I saw something that I thought was really smart. Their speed bumps were made out of rubber, hard rubber, thick speed bumps that are temporary. And they move them, or if there's a problem road, people are complaining, they could set this hard rubber speed bump up and put up the temporary signage. Wintertime, they're removed. Snowplow comes through, there's no problem, there's no issue, they don't destroy them. I just thought that was a pretty smart idea, so I don't know, maybe if you people could look
That's
into that
That's under
instead of.
consideration, 100%.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else wish to address the council on agenda items? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to close to the public on the agenda items.
Motion.
Second.
I'll do all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Anything else, Mr. Vatica?
Nothing else, Mr. Chairman?
I don't believe so. For all those fantasy football players, good luck, and good luck to the Green Bay Packers. God bless them. Have a nice night.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
Good job.